What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another repaint video here on the channel. Today's video, we're going to be taking on the new repaint of the Sarcosuchus here. Just got this guy in hand, and his color deco is super wild. It just screams 90s chaos effect, and as a kid of the 90s, I absolutely love this whole wacky, zany sort of color pattern on this thing, and he's the perfect candidate for a makeover. We're going to be playing off the factory colors, playing off the factory plastic, enhancing the details, making them look gritty, grimy, and really cool. I'm going to be using nothing but Walmart paint on this repaint, so you guys will be able to follow along. There is no airbrush required for this, so let's jump right in. Starting off first with a dark wash. I'm going to be taking some of this navy blue and mixing some black into it and mixing around, making a really nice dark blue wash because I want to enhance all of the detail that's on this light blue sort of pale gray skin tone that he's got. So I'm going to be scrubbing this black paint into all of the little details, all the little nooks and crannies, and then I'm going to be taking a paper towel and wiping all of it off and leaving all that dark paint down in the cracks and everything, and it's really going to make the sculpt pop. Now that I got that first layer of wash applied, I'm going to use the hair dryer to dry it. It's going to help expedite the dry time on this. That way I can blast through this repaint and move on to the next color. So the next color up, we're going to be working on the purple on the back, and I'm going to be doing a lot of dry brushing on that. So I'm going to take some of this Merlot and mix it with some wicker white to make a nice light maroon color. And this is going to be our dry brushing color base that we're going to be playing off of. Starting off first with a nice heavy-handed dry brush of that maroon color. And then each time I go back to do another coat, another pass, I'm going to lighten up that maroon with a little bit more white to make that maroon brighter, and just lightly dry brushing. Each time I dry brush, I do a nice lighter hand pressure, not super heavy. And then the final one will just be a very, very light dry brushing of this really bright highlight just to finish it all off and hit those nice high areas on the scales. So now I want to highlight all the scale areas on the body. And for that, I'm going to be using granite gray and dry brushing all the raised scale areas. That's going to make all the details pop and take this thing to the next level. Alright, so it is detail work time, and we're going to be painting some scales with jack-o'-lantern orange. And this isn't rocket science, this is just coloring now at this point. So I'm just picking out certain scales and coloring them in orange, basically. And you don't have to use orange, you know, you could really use any color you wanted on your repaint if you decide to do this, but I'm sticking with that factory deco color that they went with, just enhancing it. I'm also taking some creative licensing to my repaint and bringing that orange scaling up into the face, and, you know, down on the arms and stuff like that. Just keeping that chaos effect train rolling. I love this wacky paint scheme on this thing. It just looks ridiculous. So now I'm going to go in with some Mod Podge. This is not the end of the video, so don't leave. I'm actually going to be doing another black wash over all of the orange areas that I just did because I want to bring that orange down a little bit. I don't want it to be as bright and vibrant. I want it to be a little bit more muckier looking. And I would think that if this thing had bright orange scales and it was swimming around in dirty swamps, that they would be dirty looking scales. So I'm going to dirty them up, give them a little grimy wash with that black paint. Same process as earlier when we did it on the body, taking that black paint and scrubbing it down into all the little areas on the orange spots that I painted, and then taking that paper towel and just wiping all of the paint off, and it'll bring the tone down on the orange a little bit and dirty it up, which is the general effect that I'm trying to go for. And then you can go back with your scale highlight and re-highlight any areas that may have been darkened up by that second wash, because it will darken things up again. So you may want to re-highlight the body parts on this, but that's just taking that granite gray and doing a nice light dry brushing over certain areas just to enhance those highlights again. Okay, one last little dry brush area, and I wanted to sort of add a little flair to this thing's back, and I love color shift paints. They're just fun to use, especially with like aquatic reptile-y looking animals and stuff like that. So this is just that pink flash or whatever it's called, color shift, and it just looks really great on that purple. And it'll give it a nice shiny sheen all over its face, especially when you look at it from different angles. It's like purple one angle and like shiny pink the next angle. I love a good color shift paint, so anytime I get a chance to use it, I will definitely use it. So nothing fancy here. We're just painting the claws black, just a nice flat black, and then painting the eyeball a nice lime tree green. I really like just a a green eyeball on this thing. It just kind of gives it that menacing look. And you know that I love a good menacing eyeball, and an eyeball with no pupil just looks creepy. So he's getting green eyes. And so now we're going to paint the teeth. And I wasn't going to paint the teeth originally, but the factory paint job on the teeth was just not all that great, so I decided to go ahead and paint them. And if you guys want to do that too, the color I'm using is antique white. And now I have recently discovered a new way of sealing teeth and claws and stuff, you know, areas that you're worried about paint rubbing. And that's to get a tube of super glue and an old junky paintbrush and put some super glue out on a piece of like a paper plate or something like that, and actually paint the teeth and claws with super glue. It dries clear, and it will protect them from chipping or anything like that. So that is a little pro tip from me to you guys. Hope you enjoy that and are able to use it. So now that everything is done, we can finally do a little side-by-side comparison of the Killer Crocs. And I'm really pleased with how this one turned out, with just a few basic paint techniques and some colors, and you can really enhance the figure a lot and make it look so realistic and everything. I've always said that it really comes down to like the figure. You know, if you have a really good sculpted figure with lots of detail, then it can paint itself, you know, and it's a pleasure to paint. And painting the Sarcosuchus was actually really fun. I enjoyed this one a lot. And a lot of credit goes really to the sculptor, Kristen, who designed this figure. She did a great job sculpting all of this nice, rich detail onto it that just takes paint beautifully. So big props to her for being awesome at what she does. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found the information provided useful, especially if you're a beginner. This is the video for you, and hopefully you'll be inspired to go and grab some paints and, you know, this figure here, and try this repaint out for yourself. But that's going to do it for me for this video. I appreciate you all sticking around and watching. Remember, for more Jurassic Park related content, you know where to find me. Links will be in the description box below. You guys take care, and I will see you in the next video.